move on and look at the Sunday slate, starting with a couple of AFC East teams. The Jets are at the Bills, the team they beat, of course, to open up the season in overtime after Aaron Rodgers went down. They've won only 3 games since. How about the Bills? They've lost 4 of their last 6. Josh Allen, 3 turnovers in that Monday night loss to Denver, leads the NFL in turnovers and interceptions. Joe Brady will be calling the offense now as the interim OC for the Bills. RC?
I'm looking at the Broncos and the Vikings. Josh Dobbs has been an absolute revolution as a backup quarterback. I mean, the man has probably had more time with NASA's rule book than he has with the Minnesota Vikings playbook, and he's playing out of his mind. But he's playing a Denver Broncos defense under Vance Joseph that has really gotten things going, and they've gotten them going by turning the football over. Can they continue to get those turnovers to set up Russell Wilson in that Denver Broncos offense in scoring position, because that's been their formula for winning?
Jeff?
Yeah, we've got the Dolphins-Raiders also coming up, and the Dolphins are getting back to health. Devon Achane expected to play, coming off of injured reserve. Just in time, by the way, because Raheem Mostert also winding up on the injury report due to a couple issues, but he was able to practice limited. But ultimately, this is what the Dolphins wanted to be. They've got the healthy secondary. They've got their running game going. For the second half of the season, this is what the Dolphins envisioned in the preseason.
Yeah,
Dan?
Darlington pulling a Shefty on TV with looking at the phone, finding reports, inside information.
Got a lot of things going on.
RC talking about NASA. That's the second time this week I've heard NASA, and I didn't even know NASA was still around. So kudos to Josh Dobbs. I want to see Denzel Ward versus George Pickens. Both of these defenses are spectacular. Amari Cooper on the other side, no question. But I think George Pickens versus Denzel Ward is one of those premier matchups. All Pittsburgh does is try to throw him one-on-one footballs, rightfully so that they should. I'd like to see some more out of their offense. And Denzel Ward is one of the best man-to-man cover corners in the NFL. We are going to get a lot of that one-on-one matchup.
Oh, man. I mean, look at this. They face off Sunday. Browns, Steelers, both teams at 6-3. Less than a 20% chance to win the division. But the winner of Sunday's game, let's face it, they're only going to be 1 game behind the Ravens in the win column. RC, what does this one mean for the Steelers, given everything that's going on in this division in terms of the playoff hopes?
Guys, what it means for the Steelers is we can look up in about a month and the Steelers can be 10-3. Think about this week. You'll get an opportunity to play Dorian Thompson-Robinson on the road. And the next week, you'll have Jake Browning. And then after that, the Arizona Cardinals, then Mac Jones and the New England Patriots. The Steelers can start a run if they win this very tough game in Cleveland. Just because they have a backup quarterback doesn't mean that this defense isn't going to come to play. It doesn't mean that the Cleveland Browns won't have an elite rushing offense, especially if Kevin Stefanski taps into DTR's ability to run the football. And so there are going to be so many challenges in this game. But if the Pittsburgh Steelers show up, make plays defensively like we've seen, the run game with Jalen Warren and Najee Harris continues to develop. And also, if we can get some plays from Kenny Pickett, who protects the ball at an elite level, the Steelers can win this game and set themselves up to have a run here where we're looking up in December and saying to ourselves, oh my God, the Pittsburgh Steelers can host football games in the playoffs. It will be the greatest coup of all time.
Yeah, being outgained in every game this season. Now Mike Tomlin's name is a verb. You're Tomlining people, right?
RC, can you guys throw that schedule up again? Realistically, what game left on their schedule do we not think they can absolutely win it? I think it's week 18. They have Baltimore. Look at this.
It's week 18.
They're going back to RC's
and they've
point.
beaten Baltimore this year.
Yeah, backup quarterback. Obviously, we'll see what Kyler's doing. Mac Jones and the Patriots offense are not playing good. Backup quarterback. And then on the road, week 18, week 17, week 18, we're sitting there. This team, RC, that's a great point.
It's crazy.
I think this game, everyone's going to say, okay, DTR and this Cleveland Brown offense. I think it's more on their defense to slow down. And again, shocking to say, this Pittsburgh Steelers run game. Now, this is not an intricate run game. This is not exotic. What the Steelers do is they go into the game and say, what run is working the best for us? And then you are going to see it 10 times. If you go back to last week, it was 2 runs. They ran inside zone, meaning it's a zone concept to the weak side. They ran this from the same formation 5 or 6 times. and then one back power with that guy Jaylen Warren that RC just mentioned. So for Cleveland's defense, it's going to be imperative on them early on. What run do the Pittsburgh Steelers feel comfortable with? And they are going to see it plenty. If they could slow that down and stop it, then they got a chance to help their offense.
Yeah, number 1 in yards allowed. Okay, guys, so we are all on the Steelers for this one. I mean, how much do you love that? We learned our lesson early in the season.
No, somebody else pick them.
No, I don't know. Jeff didn't have a pick, so I don't know.
They got backup tackles in Cleveland. I love Kevin Stefanski, but
hey, man,
I'm taking Pittsburgh.
They have beaten 11 of 12 rookie quarterbacks they faced. C.J. Stroud, the only guy.
He might be 14-3.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.